Virgo.
Hello Virgo, this is your November forecast for 2016. And listen, October had your focus very much so on your financial situation. Crunching numbers, trying to get those things aligned, your accounts, your income, and so forth. And also focusing on maybe doing some shorter trips. But as you're coming in now to November, your main focus here is going to be pretty much more so on family, grounding things, getting things up and running, maybe small projects around the home as well. Now, parents could be very important this month just because now Venus is in this area here for you and has just passed Saturn there at the very last couple of days of October. So you could come to see there might have been a situation where you wanted to either go in, spend some more time, or shore things up for one of your parents. But it is a happy-go-lucky time when Venus is cruising through Sagittarius. Venus is love, it's romance, and the energy of Sagittarius is always very enthusiastic, okay? It's very outgoing and it's full of play. So you might see that this too, that your inner mood romantically might just be shooting for those far distant horizons. But the Sun and Mercury here is now in your third house. The Sun being you, Mercury is communication. The third house represents communication. So we can come to see that there is something very special this month, especially in those first couple of weeks where you might be engaging more so in communicating or presenting. Now, this could be verbal, it could be written. Anything that that third house does represent is going to actually behoove you. And we got to also always remember that Mercury is your ruler. So this is where you're going to shine this month. If you need to give a presentation, you're going to do absolutely great with that, Virgo. Now, both of them, though, are cruising through the sign of Scorpio, and that just means that we're going a little deeper into our inner self. Okay, we're feeling our emotions a little bit more intense. We're processing the deeper underlying emotions that are behind our words and how and what it is we're communicating. So we're coming from this inner guttural feeling of wanting to express those things that we might have been holding on to for some time. Watch how that might just surface for you here this month too. Mars, though, is cruising through Capricorn, and Capricorn is all about long-term goals. And Mars is your dynamic onboard motor, so I can see how you're working to pursue your goals. And I sense that it has to do with a creative project, perhaps. Those of you in your own business, well, you've seen how October pretty much was powering you up to get not just things completed, but also initiated. For some of you, might have even started a whole new concept. This was pretty much so, I'd like to say, the last couple of weeks of October when Mars met up with Pluto. PowerPoint of transformation. Also allowing you, because think both of them are like fire and intensity. Mars being like I always like to say, dynamite, and Pluto being nuclear, but the two of them together, it's like this booster rocket. So this could have been a very good time, end of October. If you go back and re-listen to October now, as you're in November, you'll be able to see how you're connecting the dots that much more. But the fifth house is also your creativity and your self-expression. So I'm seeing how you're really coming out this month, especially because you have the Sun and Mercury in your third house for communication, and you're expressing all of these emotions, which I feel are dynamic. You could probably, for those of you having children, also see that they might be starting up on some new chapters in their life where you right now are focusing on them, helping them to move forward. We have Jupiter in your second house, which it is on a long-term basis until that summer next year. Still doing pretty good, I feel. When we start off here November 1st, there's a good correlation between Jupiter and Mercury. So if you're committing to something new or starting something new, well, then that should also prove somewhat positive here as far as the financial aspect of it. But we have the full moon. Let's talk about the moons here this month in Taurus, Virgo, and that is your sister sign. This full moon this month on the 14th will show up in the area of social interaction, groups of friends, organizations, that kind of thing. So just come to see that you might be center stage here on this day, doing whatever it is you're doing alongside with your friends. The new moon will be on the 29th in the sign of Sagittarius, and that is your 4th house. So throughout the month, pay attention to what's really going on here, your home projects, family members, parents, and so forth, because when the new moon comes around, that's when you plant your seeds for what it is you would like now for it to grow for you in the next coming 12 months, right? So your intention should all be about family here, or real estate too, by all means, here on the 29th. But before we go on looking to the major aspects of this month, if you've wondered about my camera angle and why I'm not always just looking straight in the camera but sitting like this, you will find out at the end of this video, so stay tuned. But listen, we're starting off on November 1st. The Sun, which is you, and Neptune, hopes, dreams, wishes, the ideal coming in. They're creating a beautiful aspect of you now honing in on your ideal goals. So Virgo, listen, having Neptune right now going through your 7th house, well, that may have just to do with your relationships, and the Sun is powering up on this Neptune, hoping now that things can lift and rise and ascend in this area. I love here the 2nd and the 4th, because why? Your communication is deepening. You're actually able to grasp those deeper rooted emotions, something that can be now transformational. So if you've been thinking for a long time that you would like to bring something up, this would be the day to do so, because you will get your message across to whoever needs to hear it. On the 4th, we have, I always love when Venus and Uranus gets together in this trine, happens twice a year, and Venus being love, and Uranus, that momentum of surprise, the unexpected. And when the aspects are good, we can expect a good OMG. When Uranus is negatively aspected, then it's more like an oh my god, that kind of thing. But this should be a good one. Uranus for you is cruising through your 8th house, a house of intimacy. Venus now here in your 4th house, but getting closer to your 5th house. So this should definitely be now something within either family or your spouse, or also things coming in from an intimate level, and also a monetary level on the 4th. On the 7th, we have you still surfing this wave from the 2nd. Whatever it is that you expressed or brought up to whoever for you, I feel that the feedback is coming in, you're seeing how it's working for you, and that it was really worth mentioning it. Because see, the thing is, sometimes we just hold things within, and if we don't express it, how would he or she know? They may not be telepathic, right? So it's all about daring to bring up those things that represent your higher truth. And when you do, Virgo, it releases all this energy within you. You will feel more balanced, and of course things will be more harmonized, because now it's not just you carrying the ball in your court. So whatever ball you did deliver out, I'm feeling here the 7th is good. It's giving you some validation. And as we move on there to past the full moon on the 14th, getting into the 15th, Mercury and Mars, your ruler and your action, they are divinely here connected, and I feel that your Mars is now picking up some speed in a creative area, which has to do with play too. You know, when you work hard, Virgo, as you always do, don't forget to play hard as well. So there might be something coming in here where you're going to kick into action, and it feels like it has to do with something of fun, leisure, hobby, that kind of thing, but also romantic. On the 18th, lay a little low. There might be a little miscommunication, misunderstanding. Mercury and Mars are not really working together too well. We might hear something that we think we're hearing, but not necessarily what is said. And that can go the other way around too. Somebody might think you're saying something that you're not really saying. But that, I feel already the next day, will be shored up as Venus comes to the party and will express exactly what the intention was. So it's all good. It's not really a biggie. But the 19th is a really beautiful date night if you want to go out and have a romantic dinner. Venus, love and romance, and Neptune being that higher octave of Venus. When the two of them get together, it's really dreamscape time, right? But also for those of you who are artistic, this is a very inspirational day and evening to create, to get into that flow. For those of you who love to write, you will have no writer's block here on the 19th. So, but moving into the 22nd, we have, again, your ruler, Mercury and Jupiter, coming together here in a conjunction. No, I'm sorry, a sextile. And that has to do with communication about new visions, okay? New things opening up. And always recall Jupiter being always on your side, wanting to be generous with you. So if you're getting something into place, say like negotiating a new contract, both the 22nd and the 23rd is excellent for this, because Mercury is also coming up to a conjunction of Saturn, and Saturn's always looking out for you and the longevity of any kind of new agreement. So wonderful days to set up a review, an interview, that kind of thing. If you have any influence over the timing of it, then that is what you would like to circle. Here on the 24th, we're coming into the holidays here. This year, there might be discussions around that turkey table. And what you would like to be aware of is try to be the observer rather than the participant. Because Jupiter is big, you know, and yes, Jupiter can become very righteous when it wants to be, and it's squaring up on Pluto, and Pluto can become very feisty. So there might be differences of opinions. So this is one of the times where we'd like to say, let's agree to disagree, and it's okay that we all have our opinions. It might get a little bit like this. The carryover on the 25th, Venus is going to come in again, try to shore it up and to make or bring more of the points across to heal the situation. So hopefully, you know, that will take place. But Venus is also in a tricky place, just like Jupiter. It's being squared there onto Pluto. So, conjunct there to Pluto. Yeah, but square to Venus. So, little touchy, little feely, but it is possible. And I think it's one of those situations you'd like to get a little closure on, not just let it hang there. But we're coming towards the end of the month, and on the 26th, there's some unexpected good news, like a surprise coming in there for you, Virgo. I feel it can shunt you forward, that it can speed things up. Whenever I see Uranus, I always think about Uranus being the higher octave of Mercury, which it is aspecting. Mercury rules our linear time, the 24-hour clock that we have. But Uranus, whenever aspected, it could speed time up really, really quick. But it also has the power to slow things down. So if you ever have that sense and that feeling that sometimes time just rushes off with you, sometimes it moves very, very slowly, then you know Uranus is at work. But on this date, we have a great lineup of information coming your way, so that is going to carry you through the end of this month. Listen, I thought I would address the comments that you guys have had and speculated about over a long time, and that is, why do I look this direction and into the camera this way? It has a couple of reasons, and of course for me, I'm more all about the information rather than the camera, but just to let you know, I have two very important reasons for why I sit the way I do. For one, I want to keep in touch with you on the camera, but then I have my board here with the transits, the dates, and so forth, because not all that information is stored mentally. But there's a deeper reason, and that is the third point. You, the board, and then the midpoint. Now, the midpoint for me is when I access the future, okay, when I put it together. And you can try this for yourself as well, because, see, if you look to the left, you're processing the past. That's where your memories go down memory lane. That's the past, that side of our brain. When we look to the right, we're accessing the future, right? That's where you go when you're speculating what will happen now in the future. You will go this direction with your eyes. So for me, I channel my information when I look in this direction. So for me, rather than sitting straight on, then it works for me. My information flows better. It's how I roll. Now, if I was to talk to you without thinking or considering the future, then I would look straight on like this, because then I'm just talking about the here and now, whatever, and looking at you. But as soon as I psychically start working, well, then I got to go like this to get that information in the future and download it from there. So that's why, no mystery, but now you know. See you next time.